Okay, so a deadline has been set. The United States and Iran are locked in this incredibly dangerous standoff, and President Trump has laid down an ultimatum that has basically put the entire world on a knife's edge. Let's get right into what's going on.
I mean, you can't get much more direct than this. A statement like this from President Trump, it's not just political talk. It's being read as a very clear, very stark warning of what could happen if a deal isn't reached. It frames this whole thing as a final, high-stakes countdown.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the ultimatum itself, then we'll look at all the military and political posturing going on. After that, we'll cover the global reaction, the energy crisis that's exploding because of this, and finally, what could happen as that clock runs out.
Okay, first up, let's talk about the heart of this thing, the immediate threat, the specific deadline that's got everyone so nervous.
And here it is, the moment everything is building towards, Wednesday at 5 a.m. Pakistan time. President Trump has made it pretty clear that this isn't just a suggestion, it's a potential trigger for military action.
So what does that action actually look like? Well, the administration isn't just talking tough. They're making their military posture very, very public. Let's look at the specifics.
Now, this is where things get really unusual. President Trump actually went on social media and laid out a two-step plan. Step 1, target Iran's bridges. Step 2, hit their energy infrastructure. By putting it out there for everyone to see, it makes the threat feel way less like a secret plan and more like something that's about to happen.
And to really drive the point home, to project this image of strength, the administration is making a big deal out of a recent Special Forces mission, a successful rescue of 2 downed airmen from inside Iranian territory. It's a very deliberate show of what the U.S. military can do right when it matters most.
And President Trump has been really loud about this. Publicly praising the elite Delta Force, his CIA director, and especially his Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who you might remember as a former Fox News contributor and a key voice for a more aggressive stance in the administration.
But while the administration is putting on this big show of military force, back in Washington, it's a completely different story. This brinksmanship with Iran has just lit a political firestorm at home.
And this slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? It's like 2 separate worlds colliding. On one side, you've got the Trump administration threatening strikes and celebrating the military. And on the other, House Democrats are not only slamming his rhetoric, they're actually moving to impeach a member of his cabinet over it.
So the thinking for the Democrats seems to be, hey, maybe going after the president himself is too much of a long shot. But his Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, that's a different story. By focusing on how he's handled things in Iran, they see a path to a political win, hoping to weaken the administration's push for a conflict. Now, this whole thing isn't happening in a vacuum. It's not just about the US and Iran. The entire world is getting dragged into this crisis. Let's take a look at the other key players and how they're handling this.
And things are getting incredibly messy out there on the global stage. The UK is caught in the middle, facing all this pressure about letting the US use its bases. Meanwhile, you've got regional powers already in the fight. Israel is hitting energy targets, and Saudi Arabia is terrified it's going to be the next target for Iranian retaliation. And this isn't just talk. There are reports that U.S. strikes are already happening on Iran's Karg Island.
And if you look at it from Iran's perspective, this is nothing short of an existential threat. They believe these potential strikes aren't just about a military conflict. They think the goal is to cause damage so severe it would cripple the country for generations to come.
But even with all this war talk, there are little signs of diplomacy happening in the background. We're seeing reports that Pakistan's army chief is talking with U.S. Senator J.D. Vance, who's a close Trump ally. This suggests there might still be a back channel, a way to talk, to pull back from the edge. Okay, so all this geopolitical drama, it's having a huge real-world impact that's hitting everyone right in the wallet, all thanks to what's happening in the global energy market.
And to put this into perspective, the International Energy Agency has come out and said that the oil and gas crisis we're in right now is worse than the crises of 1973, 1979, and 2022 combined. I mean, just let that sink in. That is an absolutely mind-blowing assessment of the economic damage we're seeing.
So why is it so bad? Well, let's look at the history here. Back in '73, you had an oil embargo. In '79, the Iranian Revolution. In 2022, the invasion of Ukraine. Each one was a huge shock. The problem today is that we're seeing a combination of all of them, a perfect storm of supply problems and just extreme geopolitical risk.
And that brings us right back to where we started, the final countdown. Is there a way out of this, a diplomatic off-ramp, or have we finally reached the point of no return? Now, you're going to hear this term off-ramp thrown around a lot in situations like this. So what is it? Think of it like a diplomatic escape hatch. It's some kind of solution or excuse that lets everybody back down from a fight without looking weak or, losing face.
So could one of these off-ramps actually happen? Well, there are a few things that point to maybe. Israel, for one, is under a lot of pressure from groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis, so a pause might actually be good for them. And then there's President Trump himself. This is the third time he's set a hard deadline like this. There's a pattern here, where he could back down again, just declare victory and move on.
But at the end of the day, the biggest reason to find a peaceful way out might just be the economy. The damage being done to global energy markets is creating this incredible pressure on everybody involved to find a way to step back from the brink.
So, here we are, in the final hours. As the clock ticks down, the entire world is holding its breath and asking one simple question. Is it going to be a diplomatic exit or all-out war? We're about to find out.